So this week, this is a special cryptid court, so we didn't have a vote, but rather we're going to do a cryptid that was suggested to us from an email.
And we're not going to try to debate it. We'll just discuss it, right?
Yeah, I think more of a conversation would be better. So we're talking about the Queensland tiger today.
The Queensland tiger is an arboreal, notoriously aggressive cat-like animal about the size of a medium dog with a striped coat. It was seen in Australia, Queensland, which is in the northeast. Yeah. The native name is Yari. There seem to have been some of these animals cited before it was ever known as the Queensland tiger by the local people of the area. And its habitat is rocky retreats, and it's said to eat a little brown variety of wallaby common in the scrubs. And there haven't been a lot of sightings lately, so some people are saying even if it did exist, that it's extinct now because the other animals, the tiger cats, the quolls, they're also struggling and they're have a similar niche. So that's just some background about this animal.
Yeah. There have been some more recent news reports and sightings. There's one from 2017 of a family who said they saw two, I think, just behind their backyard. It sounds a bit silly, but if you actually watch it, they're behind their backyard is like a jungle, so it'd be a nice place for an animal to hide. Should we quickly go through a few of the sightings? So I had some listed that I just took from Carl Schuker's book, Mystery Big Cats of the World, and Malcolm Smith's book, Bigfoot and Bunyips or something. No, I don't have all of them, but there are a lot of similar ones. But maybe the earliest one by a Westerner, I guess, if we're not including the Yari, was 1705, reported from Dutch East India Company. Not too much information about that, just mentioned there was a tiger-like animal in Australia. I think one of the earlier ones that's a bit more famous is from a police magistrate's son. He was out with his pet terrier. He saw one in the long grass. I think his dog was barking. The dog chased it up a tree. Then the animal, I don't know, got angry or something, or defensive, and ran back down the tree and chased the boy and the dog away. In one book, in Carl Schuker's book, it said that the boy shot it in the head, but it doesn't say that in the other book, so I don't know if that happened. What else? 1872, native police officer saw an animal in a tree the size of a pointer dog, fawn color markings, had darker shade, round head. I mean, I guess it goes up to 1969 in terms of the famous sightings. And that was 1969. Nancy O'Brien saw one on her window top. It was growling and snarling, had green eyes. She stuck a walking stick at it and it leaped away. Just kind of going back and forth. I don't know what else to say.
It was covered in a book in 1955 called On the Track of Unknown Animals. This person, I don't know who he is, a naturalist or something. He said that this was the unknown animal that was close.
He's the father of cryptozoology.
No, I'm sorry that I don't know.
In the cryptid court intro, one of the people sitting there, I photoshopped them holding his book.
Okay, well, please forgive me, but this guy, this random dude, he said that Bernard
Hoyvelmans, I think. I don't know. It's hard to say.
So he said that the Queensland tiger was the unknown animal closest to official recognition, which I think is compelling. He must have thought there's a lot of evidence for it.
Yeah, there was actually I think two separate books, just biology books in Australia that had mentioned it as a real animal. In the, I can't remember when, 1910s, 20s or 30s or something like that.
So should we talk about the things that it could be? People have said they could be. So one example of something it could be is the Thylacoleo, the pouch lion, the marsupial lion. It went extinct 30 or 40,000 years ago. It's about the right length, right? The right size. It's just that it's been extinct for a really, really long time. But other than that, it fits the description of this animal really well.
The other thing is that, and there's a drawing, I can't remember who it's by. I think there's a drawing of the Queensland tiger where it's just attacked a wallaby and it has the two front teeth protruding in the very front of its mouth. And apparently Thylacoleo had instead of large canines, it had large incisors, like sharp incisors at the very front, almost like a rodent.
Another thing I want to say about the thylacoleo, even though it doesn't seem very plausible because it went extinct so long ago, we have to remember also that like the native people, the Aboriginal people of Australia have a name for it, Yari, and it's also one of the oldest groups of, like, these people have been there for ages. They're one of the oldest civilizations in the world, and so it's actually thought that the thylacoleo and the people of Australia lived together at the same time. So think about how they could have had a word for it since then, and if they're using that same word now for the animal that we call the Queensland tiger, that's like compelling evidence to me that it could be the same creature, and it's just we have missed it somehow.
Yeah, and if not specifically Thylacoleo carnifex, I think there's like the family Thylacoleonidae or something. There's 10 different species, and some like were smaller. I think carnifex is the biggest. So
the second thing it could be, so the first thing it could be is Thylacoleo. The second thing it could be is the thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger, which was extinct from the mainland much more recently than the Thylacoleo. It was 3,600 or so years ago, right? It's smaller, or is it bigger? No. I'm confused. I just imagined it as smaller, but then these figures say bigger.
Maybe a little bit smaller.
Well,
a little bit smaller. I'm looking at the weights that I have put down. I think because Thylacoleo could nearly be as big as like a leopard or a jaguar, and a thylacine the size of a small dog.
But in the notes it says the Thylacoleo is 150 centimeters.
In length, yeah.
And then it says the Tasmanian tiger is 180
centimeters. Oh, maybe that's not including the tail.
I don't know. I don't understand these figures. I'm just gonna talk about how, the thylacine was alive in our current recorded memory, but only in Tasmania. But it's possible it could have been some pockets in Queensland.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And then there's the tiger quoll, sometimes called the tiger cat, which makes it confusing because some people call the Queensland tiger the tiger cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's not. It's spotted instead of striped, so that's very true. Spotted. However, some of the sightings did say spotted, not striped. And if you look at the Thylacoleo, it has sort of like half spot, half stripe pattern going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tiger quoll is quite small, though. Oh, you know what I think happened for the Thylacoleo? I think the length was copied and pasted because it says 150 centimeters, and then the tiger quoll says 150 centimeters as well. So one of these isn't right.
Oh, yeah. Range up to 75 centimeters high at the shoulder, about 150 centimeters from head to tail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For the Thylacoleo?
Yeah, now look up thylacine. Thylacine size. 100 to 130 centimeters long. Okay, so we have a too big.
You're the wrong figure there.
Yeah. So,
and then what about the tiger quoll? Oh, the tiger quoll is 90 centimeters, 35 inches. Oh my gosh.
What the hell? Okay, something got mixed up here. But it's pretty small. It's like the size of I can't find the shoulder height, but it's like, I think the max weight is like 8 kilos.
Okay, sorry about that. That was so our document was all weird. Anyway, so the Thylacoleo is the biggest one. The thylacine is the second biggest, and then the tiger quoll is quite small, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. There are some other theories. There's a rumor that there were pumas imported during World War II.
Not by U.S. airmen.
I don't know who it was. It was just some guy.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that might be a debunked thing. But...
Oh, really? Okay. And there's also the theory that it's a tree kangaroo. Because it's really good at climbing trees, and I don't know. And you know that kangaroos can be quite violent, even though they seem like just fluffy little guys.
Yeah, most of the descriptions say it had a round face, though, like a cat. Or not, I don't know if most, but a lot of the descriptions said that.
Well, tree kangaroos have sort of a roundish face.
I guess so.
In some ways. It's sort of pointy, but it's also sort of round. I could see them looking cat-like.
Okay. Well, what do you think the Queensland tiger is?
Well, I do think there's something out there because just all this evidence of this large creature that's probably not a cat.
Yeah.
Like, probably, I mean, there's something. I just don't know. Like, I hesitate to say it's the long extinct Thylacoleo. But I do want to, like, believe the, the native Aboriginal people of Australia and what they're saying. We don't have a lot of, like, narrative about what the Yari is like. We just have the name. So I'd like more information about that, like how they would describe it, where they've seen it and stuff. But I think there's something. And Australia does have like so many crazy things running around that have been introduced. So I wouldn't go and say that it has to be native. And like I always say this, but there's always the case where some of them are some animals and other sightings are other animals.
Yeah.
Like sometimes if it's more aggressive, maybe it was a dingo. If it was bigger, maybe it was maybe if it was more aggressive or if it was bigger, it might have been a dingo. Maybe if it was like climbing up a tree, it might have been a cat or a kangaroo. There's a lot of, maybe in some cases when it's huge, it was an escapee tiger, although I don't know of any cases of escapee tigers, but it's possible.
Yeah.
So
there is
I don't know.
a sketch of a footprint. It has like 4 toes and a pad, and you can see the claws on the footprint. Assuming that they did find art. There is
I don't know.
a sketch of a footprint. It has like 4 toes and a pad, and you can see the claws on the footprint. Assuming that they did find that has Queensland tiger footprint, and it wasn't like a dog footprint or something. It doesn't really match any, like it kind of looks like a dog mixed with a cat.
I think that's a footprint of a Queensland tiger.
Oh, well, that was from Cardwell in 1871 when they had like followed it and they were looking for it and they found that track.
Mm.
So that's why I think it might be. But like I said, maybe they just assumed that it was because they had seen one recently.
Here's something that Carl Sugar said. I didn't read the book. You did. Let me tell me if this is wrong. It said that suggestions of misidentified dingoes, feral dogs, oversized domestic cats, and escapee tigers are discounted on account of the highly distinctive features of the Queensland tiger. The Queensland tiger has these stripes around its body, its tusk teeth, and its habits of being in trees. None of these animals would have all these things at once. And because there is the Aboriginal knowledge of the Yari, this shows that it was present before Europeans ever arrived. So it can't be like something introduced. So Sugar concluded that it's clear that it's not something as conservative as an oversized domestic cat or something like that, as I already said. It's something new, something real, and something unique. You agree? Is that what he said?
I think so. I'd have to open it up, but that sounds about right.
But so I agree with that no animal would have all of those things at once except for the animal that we're talking about. However, like I said, it's possible that in some cases it was one and it had some of the features, and other cases it was another animal that had the other features. It's hard to say.
I feel like thylacine is the least likely one because a thylacine can't climb a tree, right? Does have any
Maybe not.
plausible thoughts?
Doesn't look like it can.
No.
I'm gonna hold out hope for the Thylacoleo.
That's one that sounds the closest to me because it has those big front teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Which sometimes they're described in different areas, but possibly was striped. I don't know if they know that for sure or not.
Right.
It could climb. It probably was a bit aggressive. Or if not Thylacoleo, maybe like a relative and descendant.
I'm thinking maybe there could be just some undiscovered species or some extra big specimens of the tiger quolls.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd be cool to find out. Okay. Do you have anything else to say? Did we cover this topic in depth enough for our listeners?
I hope so. If you want, I mean, there's so much more in the books if you want to read them.
And this was a requested topic, so let us know what you thought.
Yeah. But I do think there might be something to it. It doesn't, like some cryptids, I feel like some of the lake ones, I'm just like, oh, whatever, it was a fish.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't know, seems a little bit more plausible.
Yeah, I agree. I'm I'm intrigued. Gotta get us a ticket to Australia.
Yeah.
Maybe our dear listeners will provide us with one ticket each to Australia and we'll be able to investigate it ourselves, even though we're not qualified at all.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel for full episodes or download the MP3 from the links below.